This is the 12-volt control panel, so this switch turns it on and off. So now it's on, displays the time. You can change the time, it's wrong now, but you can go into the programming mode and do that, but that's something you can find out. Screens on the little buttons on the left. The top one is a pump, so whenever you want water pressurized, that includes the taps and the toilet, you turn that on. All the other light buttons on the left are light switches, and if we look at this switch here, that will enable the cab battery to be used for habitation purposes. Not a good idea to do that, only in emergencies, because it's going to drain your cab battery for starting. Okay, now this key here will cycle through the water tanks and the voltage of the batteries. Okay, so whenever you get in the motorhome you're using it, you turn this switch on. Okay, now we're in the wardrobe. This is the main consumer unit switch, or switches. There's 3 switches. Battery charger, keep that turned on all the time, so whenever you're plugged in it's going to charge the battery. Water heater, if you turn this switch on, that means the water will be heated on electric. So only put that switch on when you know there's water in the boiler. Turn it off now. This switch here says space heater. That's the electric operation of the fire, which is also a gas fire. So if you want to use an electric, you turn this switch on, then you go to the side of the wardrobe and you look at the top switch and it says 2,500 or 1,000. That's wattage. So if you put it on 2,000, with that switch activated in the wardrobe, the fire will now work on electric. Now the switch at the bottom, it's either off or a gas symbol. That is the boiler on gas. And remember, you've got to take the vent cover off on the outside for that to work. So the fire, as we said, it's either gas or electric. If you put it on electric, we've just shown that previously. If it's on gas, we just turn the control knob maybe halfway, press it down, and whilst it's pressed down, keep clicking the igniter, and that will light the gas. The switch on the left is the blown air fan, so you can turn it on and then you've got a speed set in there. It can also be used without any heating on and just distribute cold air. Okay, in the wardrobe we find the boiler. There's the boiler. Now it's important to show you this switch here. Can you see a yellow valve there? That's in the horizontal position, so it's closed. So that means the boiler is capable of holding water. When you drain it, you just flick that valve up and the water will drain out the bottom of the boiler itself. And you would drain down the boiler when you're not using it, and particularly in winter when it can freeze. Now, to check that there's water in the boiler, which is important before you turn in any water heating on, go to the control panel, activate the pump switch, go to the kitchen tap, put it on the hot setting, turn it on, and as long as there's a continuous flow of water, you know there's water in the boiler. Initially, when you prime it, when it's being drained, it'll throw out air and it'll take about 3 or 4 minutes to fill. Okay, so it's important to make sure there's water in the boiler before you turn the water heating on. There doesn't have to be water in the boiler if you just want heating within the motorhome. Next we move to the fridge. It's a 3-way fridge, which essentially means it will run off 3 power sources: electric, gas or battery, or more precisely the alternator when the engine's running. There's 3 switches. On and off switch here. This button here changes the mode or the power source if you don't let it do itself on automatic, and this is the temperature setting like a thermostat, cool or cold. Okay, so we turn it on. There's the auto symbol coming up there, and you can see it's gone to the flame and it's lit itself on gas because it's not plugged in, so it's chosen gas for you because that's the only power source available. If we were hooked up to the mains, it would automatically choose electric 240 volts. Okay, and as I said, this one will change the temperature. This one will change the power source if you don't want to use the automatic setting. And then to turn it off, long press on the switch, and that's all there is to it.